You already know this is a very nice looking lung. You can see pleural surfaces here. And you already know this is some kind of tumor. Now let's ask ourselves something. Is this a tumor in the lung? Is this a tumor of the lung? Or perhaps could it be a tumor that started around the lung, like along the mesothelial or pleural surface, and is now compressing the lung, like you see here? This is a classical mesothelioma. I guess you could call mesotheliomas lung tumor, but remember, they originate not from the lung parenchyma itself, but from the surrounding mesothelial cells of the visceral or parietal pleura. And this is a diagnostic appearance. So, microscopically, however, nests of mesothelial cells, if they are malignant, can look a lot like either squamous cells or adenocells. And a lot of times you have to do special immunostaining to differentiate the two. So let's look at the microscopic appearance. Remember, these tumors may tremendously compress the lung or even invade the lung, like you see here. But most purists would not want to call them primary lung tumors. They would prefer to call them primary tumors of the epithelium or the mesothelium, which surrounds the lung, both viscerally as well as parietally. Here's going to be a section through this little pleural area now, which is extremely thick because it's a tumorous. It seems like you can't go a day or so watching television without some law office, trying to look for mesothelioma cases so they could make a lot of money and maybe give a couple of pennies to the people that died of these things by working with asbestos. As you know, they're asbestos related. Here is fibrous tissue, the whiter area. This whole thing is a pleural tumor. Here is a sort of infiltrating array, perhaps in a trabecular pattern, perhaps in a little cell ball pattern. Use whatever adjective you want because it doesn't matter as long as you're describing it honestly. And within this fibrous tissue, you can see infiltrating nests of mesothelial cells. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, my God, how the hell am I ever going to tell that these are mesothelial cells in all honesty rather than squamous cells or poorly differentiated adenocarcinoma? Well, to tell you the truth, microscopically you often can't, and you would have to do a battery of stains to differentiate these cells as having a primary mesothelial origin rather than an epithelial origin like you see with squamous cells or adenos. Because quite frankly, on a good day or on a bad day, if you showed this to a pathologist, he could very easily call it metastatic squamous cell, but he'd be wrong, but he'd still be smart. So next time the law offices of Shapiro call you and they're looking for mesothelioma cases so they could get rich, tell them that unless they give all the money to the families, you're not going to give them any cases. Bye-bye.